I woke up this morning with new wisdom on my mind. I know who I am. There's no need to hide. I got something to say. I'm thinking that it's time. Why? Cause I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. Pay me my respect.
Hello and welcome, Young Intellect. This is your co-host, Mafwa, welcoming you to our open space to teach, learn, laugh, and love.
I am your co host Sam, here to encourage you to explore different ways to view the world at large.
And I'm your co host, Andreas Renee, bringing you loads of realness and motivation into your everyday lives and minds.
We're back for another episode.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome.
Okay, so before we start getting into the episode, we just wanted to each say something that we wanted you guys to remember throughout the week, just something personal to us. Maybe someone listening might resonate with everything that each of us say, or one thing that one of us says, but we just wanted to do that. So would anyone want to go first?
You can go.
Okay. So one thing I would like you guys to remember throughout the week is to act on your heart, fulfill your heart's purpose and your soul's purpose.
That's a good one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess one thing I would want you guys to know this week is to, find a ways to educate or stimulate your mind. There's always things to learn. It doesn't have to be like education purposes, just something new.
I like that too. This week, I want to encourage everyone out there to really get going with what you want to do in your life. Remember, everything is on you. Every decision that you make, you control. So just make the right decisions. Sometimes you may get lazy, but don't become a pro at procrastination. Like, get up, get on it, get moving, because there's somebody just like you already ahead getting their stuff done. And you don't want to be that person who gets miserable and drained because you see everybody else moving along and you're stuck. Let's get moving, y'all.
You said it. Get up, get
Amen.
moving. Don't be stuck.
Yeah, don't put the pro in procrastination.
Facts.
So that was really beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing.
Well, today is going to be a little bit different. Everybody knows that this year has been quite a doozy. And a lot of talk and chatter has been going around about people really starting to find their purpose and really doing things with their lives. And we all know that there are some times where even ourselves, we get stuck and lost and we just don't know what the fuck we're doing with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So today, this week, we're going to talk about exactly that.
Yes. What the fuck am I doing with my life?
Honestly, it's a conversation that a lot of people can relate to because I feel like at one point in your life, a lot of people go through this. It's like, what am I doing? Like, what is my true purpose? Do what I think I'm supposed to do? Is it supposed to be that? Like, it's just a moment of like feeling like you're lost, kind of like stranded a little bit, or you just don't know where to go from there. You're at a crossroad and don't know like which road to take.
Mm.
Right.
And especially now, especially like with everything that happened, some people lost their jobs, their lifestyles completely changed, and like they were thrown off of what they were used to as well. And it's like, oh, so what do I do now? And it's
Right.
not right for me. And it's just that there's so many ways that people have reached this question. And especially now, I feel like more and more people are reaching this point where they're questioning what they're doing with their lives. So I think it'll be a great topic to discuss.
Yeah, because I can relate.
So let me ask you, ladies, thinking back from, say, the beginning of 2020, everybody was excited about the new year. It's a new decade. You know, this is really the whole new you to really start living your life. And then, boom, Corona hits.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, I'm not sure if y'all were planning anything in y'all head about how y'all wanted y'all life to go during this year, but if you did, thinking back to it now and seeing where you at right now, are you ahead? Are you on track? Do you feel stuck? Do you not know what you're doing?
Mm.
Personally, I believe like everything happens for a reason, regardless of like how bad it is. Like there's a reason for you to be on that journey that you're in. It was meant to happen. That's my belief. Like even if when I wanted to do other stuff, I wanted to like, explore life a little bit more. I didn't get the chance to, but there's other positive outcomes that came out of this whole, you could say, a bit of a crappy year that I did not expect at all, that actually could
Mm-hmm.
possibly shape my future. So I'm not really sure if I answered your question, but
Yeah, you did.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and for me, I would say like it didn't turn out how I expected it in my head. But I would say I'm still right on time, just because, as Sam said, everything happens because it's supposed to happen. And I'm not one of those people who are like, oh my gosh, this is such a bad year, and everyone's like 2020's been so bad. I'm just one of them people like, oh, this is the situation now. Okay, I have to deal with it, and it's definitely been a lesson, especially to not always try to hold an image in your head and expect reality to live up to that.
Mm.
Right. I can see what you mean by that. And from hearing what some other people, like having conversations with like coworkers and stuff like that, a lot of the chatter of, oh my gosh, this was the worst year, blah blah blah. I think it's just because we had to disconnect from each other for a good little minute. And a lot of people are so stuck on social media that once they can't connect with the outside world like that, like their whole mental is messed up. If they can't be outside every day, talking to people, touching people, being close to people, they lose it.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's true.
And
and
I think this year, I always say this year was the year of exposing and revealing, and it exposed and revealed a lot of things, not only like, in media, of course, because, you know, people who are really in touch and they are, quote unquote woke, we already know what's been going on for the past few years. But now, since we all stuck in the house, now everybody else sees what's going on, and it's like, oh my gosh, this happened, this happened, this happened.
mm,
But it's like this has been happening.
yeah.
You're just starting to realize it, and you're also starting to realize stuff about yourself.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely been a big year, as well as outside things. People are more in touch with themselves as well, able to tap
Mm-hmm.
into themselves a bit more. And I would say that is one thing that, for me, I felt my year was already going like that because of the people I was around at the beginning. But I'm not gonna lie, this corona thing kind of did, like, it caught. I feel like I was kind of running off a cliff, and like I
Mm-hmm.
watched a video of this baby. It was like on the second floor, and like it was in between bars, and then it fell through the bars, and the mum just caught it by
Whoa.
its foot, like literally. And I feel like that's what this year did to me. Like it literally just
Mm.
caught me by my foot before I went off into the world, like, and did things that really didn't align with my soul's purpose. Like that's literally the how close it was. Because when I look at my plans to how in touch I how how much more in touch I am with myself now, is like I really wouldn't have survived out there if I couldn't get in touch with myself like this.
Mm.
Right, I feel you on that one. I
Yeah.
feel you.
Yeah. And I think it's a blessing, you know, to have made it this far into this year with everything that's been happening out into this world.
Hmm.
For me, I don't personally think it was like a bad year for me because I just felt like it gave me more time to work on myself and become a better person than I was yesterday or the day before.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. Really thinking back on it, since we are coming to the end of the year, like just thinking back, yeah, I don't think it was a bad year,
Hmm.
like within myself.
Yeah, that's like a crazy. Yeah.
Now in the outside, looking on the outside world, I'm like, oh yeah, shit's crazy.
Yeah.
But within myself and my journey, it's like, okay, all right, I'm learning some things, I'm seeing some things,
Hmm.
I'm realizing something. Because piggybacking off of what Martha was saying about like you said the cliff,
Yeah.
yeah, like just I was thinking this the other day that I felt like in the beginning of this year I was walking on a journey, just I didn't know where I was going, just walking like I'm in a maze or some junk, and I was headed to a dead end, and I'm like at the end of the cliff. There's no other way. I can't jump to the other side. There's nothing. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh well, I must have went the wrong way in my journey, and I just had to start realizing some stuff. And I think a lot of people are doing that now too.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I think the thing in life is when we're faced with an obstacle, we tend to think it's harder than it actually is. In
Right.
reality, after we've actually jumped through those hoops, that's when we look back and see, oh, this was not that hard. It's like when you're initially met with something that's a little bit harder than you're usually used to, you think it's just hard, but it's really not.
Mm.
So I
Mm,
think like some people like have viewed this year as that obstacle, not all, because a lot of people have been through a lot of things this year, and I can't speak for a lot of people,
Mm.
and I feel like that could be me too.
And I think it's also perspective too, because sometimes like the universe might have been telling you something like for a very long time to get your life like together, and we might have been very caught up in the world and ignoring those signs, and like this year just couldn't be ignored. So some people had to go through harder things because they were ignoring it for such a long time. And some people like it's really just the universe calibrating everything for us again, I believe. And honestly, it's just been a great year for me personally, and I really wish the same for other people, even if you don't see it like that. Maybe find the good in what happened as well.
Yeah, definitely.
right.
I definitely agree with that. Because
Yeah.
honestly, just you can find the like chocolate center. I mean, like like if you're eating a candy that just has chocolate, you can find a little caramel in the middle of something. And I feel like that's kind of like life. You just find the little caramel in life.
Mm.
Yeah. If everyone can really just always see, I know you can't think positively 24/7. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
So there are going to be those moments where you start thinking negatively on something.
Hmm.
But the thing about it is, you can't let that negative side control the rest of the day and linger on to the next and the next and the next.
Yeah.
Like you got to stay having a positive mindset.
Yeah, and if that's the case, like if you're thinking about it negatively, like do it, but
Right.
like once it's done, try to find the good in it. So you
Right.
actually have done that, and it's not just a bad situation that was bad.
Hmm.
Like be like, okay, but this happened and it changed me for this, or this happened and now I'm here, or now the world has changed in this way, and that is something good that came out of this.
Yeah.
So, I also wanted to kind of know, like, is there like any chance that we actually don't know how our life will turn out, and we just like presume that our life
Oh
is
yeah.
a certain way?
100%.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
We're not mind readers. We don't have Like, we can have visions, and that's perfectly fine. But do we really know how our lives going to turn out? No, because we can think our vision says something, but really is something different.
100%. And I was actually talking about something like this with with my sister and my dad. How in my country there is a civil massacre going on inside, and one thing that they did ask for before all of this started was independence. Like they're like, "Our people will be independent," but they didn't know that it was going to lead to a war that could potentially have the outcome to give them their independence. They might have thought that someone was just going to sign papers over and they'll be independent. And sometimes you ask for something and it comes about in a way that you didn't expect.
Right.
So you also are getting what you asked for, but it's happening in a different way to the image that you put in your head.
Right.
I can say, like, for me, at the beginning of the year, I thought, like, this one career that this was my path in life. This would be like what I'll do with my life and stuff like that. And as the year progressed and stuff like that, and things happened, I started doubting. And I'm like, is this supposed to be what I'm really supposed to do? Or am I imposing these things in my mind and thinking that this is for me? So, and I came to the point of like, what the heck am I doing with my life? And it's like I feel like no one really knows what their future would be like. We have an idea, but anything can happen along the way, and that's okay. And I think the problem sometimes is when things happen that don't go our way, we think we think that our life is not gonna go well or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's really the beauty of it, though. To really be honest with you, like, even though there's a lot of things that I thought was gonna go, how I planned, but and I'm not trying to be like religious or whatever, but they always say God's timing is always the best. And as long as you keep pushing and you having faith in to what his plan is, it's gonna go well. So instead of always looking at, okay, well, this is my plan. I'm so stuck on this. This is what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. Let life move you and let God move you, because I promise you, it's going to take you places that you didn't even think that you could get to. That's why you had this initial set plan, because you didn't know you can get there with other pathways.
Yeah. And that's definitely, it's definitely the beauty within it. We really don't know how things are going to turn out. We all have images in our head. And I think the thing is, if we want to, we can always follow our desires, but then holding an image in our head is where it kind of leads to a fall. Because when you hold a desire, or like when you have a desire and you follow your heart, there's no really, there's not an image that you're looking for. It's really just you're chasing that feeling, you're chasing your heart. But when you have an image and this set like agenda, you're chasing something that you've made up, and if it doesn't go to plan, you're then hurt. But then when you're following your heart, there's no end to it. It's just that you keep on carrying on until you see it.
Yes, that's a quote right there, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't really plan out my life. Like, I always meet people that plan out. They're like, in 5 years, this is going to happen. In 6 years, this is going to happen. And I'm like, in my head, that life happens. You just never know, like, where, like Anne was saying, where life will take you. Like, things happen. Like, they can be like, it's like going straight, like driving straight on a road, and then, like, something hits you and moves you along a different way. That's how sometimes life acts, and different things to happen. So for me, I personally don't believe in planning, and like I don't really like people asking me, "What are you gonna do next? What's this? What's next? What's next?" Because I feel like sometimes I just don't know, and like I'm working towards a plan, definitely, but I just don't know where life is gonna take me sometimes.
Mm.
And I don't.
Well, I guess with planning, Because I'm one of those people who like to plan. And I know other people who are really one of those people where they have to have everything aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not it's not like, oh, this is the one set thing that we're going to do. Like for people who like the plan, it keeps our mind at peace
Mm.
because it's like, especially those who are creative, or especially those who think out of the box and want to do more stuff in the world and in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like since we know our purpose, we like to plan little things to make sure that we reaching the top. We're not gonna have all the details. Nobody never is going to have all the details. The details are what is part of God's plan.
Mm-hmm.
We just know the gist. And if we can plan out the gist, he got the rest. So for people who like the plan, it's more so of an outline. And it's nothing wrong with having an outline, because the outline is really beneficial when it comes to really living out your purpose.
That's true. I guess I
Because
was.
if you don't plan even a little bit, and if you just let life live on, you're you're not having control of it, in a sense, a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. I guess what I was really talking about is people that have like these set plans, or like this is gonna happen like this and that and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
And
some,
well, I guess they're manifesting it too.
like in 2 years I'm gonna be married with 5 kids and da, da, da.
Oh, well, then that's an extreme.
But
Yeah,
like I mean, I think it's also a marriage of both, like letting go and let God, but then God helps those who helps themselves. So like you have to be able to plan, but at least let go and let flow. So it's
Right.
there's definitely beauty in both. And as Sam was saying, sometimes people even do have structures for their life, and something happens and it completely knocks them down. Like, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
change the course of their lives, and it's like, whoa. And I guess that's some people's lives. So it really just depends on who you are, because some people planning works perfectly for them, but some people just having a little outline and like just going with spirit is what is best for them. And
Right.
both of them do work well. Both of them are beneficial, and it's definitely something that you see what's best for you. Because
mm-hmm.
if Anne wasn't to plan that right,
Oof.
like if you went to have a plan, you'd obviously not feel as stable.
Mm-hmm.
But if
Yeah.
Sam was to have this plan, like she won't feel as stable, she'll feel like too confined. So finding a balance for you is definitely something.
Yeah, my thing,
Right.
like I don't. There's nothing in like planning and like doing the outline that like I don't see no nothing wrong with doing the outline for it. It's just like being constrictive to a thing that I have an issue with, kind of
Mm.
like.
Yeah, because a lot of people have different, and it depends on that one person's, like, I guess, goals or plans.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, how Martha said about the whole married in like 2 years, if that's what you're planning, and if somebody was saying that, then yeah, that's a little extreme. Like, you don't even know how life is gonna happen. You may be single in 5 years.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that's what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
like it just depends on what the goal is.
That's
It
very
gotta
true.
be realistic.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes, like even if you have a plan, like you can have an outline and you not know what's next. And that's what I was basically
that
trying to aim.
that is very true. Like there's some points where I'm like, I have a plan, but I don't know what is next for after that plan. But I'm like, I'll see when I get there.
Yeah,
That's literally me. I'm like, because I've been that
Yeah,
who's like, I got this lined up, and it's too stressful for me. But I do need a plan or something to be chasing after in a way,
mm-hmm.
or following or stalking. So I can at least achieve that goal. But then to have everything lined up, because after I achieve that goal, my mindset might be different, and that plan that I had
right.
for whatever I set might not just be anything I want to do. And I'm definitely learning that, you know, plan, but like not too much.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely. Because I feel like I'm like that. I do have like a plan, but I'm open to things changing and the next step not being what I initially thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because really, like, once you have, like, say you had an outline and you done accomplished one thing, but now, just like Martha said, you done got to that point. Now you have a whole different viewpoint on how you want to go. That's really the best part of it, because you can change up at any time.
Yes.
It's literally your life. So if you get to a point to where you don't want to do that no more, but you don't know what else you want to do, that's perfectly fine, because now you have a whole range of opportunity to look and research and let life flow to see what you like and what you enjoy and what you really want your purpose and passion to be. You can change it up a million times and you don't have to know it.
Yeah. Like you really don't have to be
You really don't.
and
You just got to know what to do with. You just got to make sure you make the right decisions.
Hmm.
I
And
totally agree with that.
it's knowing how to make the right decision. It's kind of hard sometimes because you just don't know. You don't know like if the decisions you might make sometimes in life might be the right decision or it might not be the right decisions. You just like going
That
off.
just comes with faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, faith and trust in yourself.
Faith, knowledge, trust.
Like listen, and also is a thing, getting in touch with yourself to be able to make decisions for yourself instead
Hmm.
of being like
Right.
not being able to trust this yourself or God or the God within you. And yeah, so
Right. And that's where kind of like spirituality comes in, because you can really have fear in your plan and it can really stop you from progressing. But that's where it's either, you got to have confidence. You got to have faith. If you don't trust in yourself, if you don't trust in the plan, do you at least trust in something else that will keep you going?
exactly.
Because, nobody wants to just feel stuck,
Hmm.
but also everybody don't want to feel like they can't move on, or they don't want to still be in that space where it's like, dang, I really want to do this, but I'm fearful of it. Like, how can I get out of it? That's just where your faith and your trust aligns in.
Hmm.
And it also comes in a matter of, do you really want it? Are you wanting this for yourself? Are you wanting this for family? Are you wanting this for fame, social media, for some likes and some pictures, or this is really like for you?
Mm. And that's why internal work is important, knowing yourself. And the hardest thing about internal work is that no one can do it for you except from you. Like
Mm-hmm.
no one can help you trust except from you actually learning how to trust. And like the outside world, I think some people become avoidant of it because like in the outside world there are ways that you can manipulate things to like you can get people to do certain stuff for you and you don't have to do much. But when it comes to internal work, you have to do it. And if you ever want to be happy and really love what you're doing, you have to know yourself to a degree where you can trust yourself and let your heart, because there's sometimes, as Anne said, or as we've been saying, you're not going to know, but you're going to need that peace of mind where it's not where you feel stuck and you have fear in your plan.
Yeah, it's just because it makes it really like depressing at the end of the day. It makes it really draining and depressing, and that's something I went through like for a good year and a half, like just not knowing. But as long as I knew just a little bit of it,
Hmm.
like even if it was blurry, I know at least something to keep me going, and that's that's really all it takes. You can, as long, you don't even have to have 10% figured out. As long as you have one piece to a puzzle can make up for a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think for me, it's like as long as I'm working towards something, it's like it's helping me to be like, okay,
Right.
at least I'm doing something so that can possibly affect my future. But just like I know it's so scary not knowing what's next. It's like, oh, it's so scary. But like you said, having faith actually helps a little bit more and being more confident in yourself and believing in yourself because if you know who you are, you know where you were and you know where you're going
Hmm.
in life, that would take you so like far in life. I believe that would take you far. You just have to know yourself, like
Yeah.
what you were saying.
Yeah, and it's like you can have a plan, you can have everything planned out but no faith, or you can have the faith and nothing planned out. And I think that's the latter one is the better situation because, like, if you have faith, everything's just gonna be a journey and everything's just gonna be
Right.
beautiful. And as you
It's
did say,
fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's an adventure, and it's not like you're doing it because of something and you're running away from something. You're more running to something or being happy with what you where you are and just loving the moment. And I think that is something that people are learning how to do, which is beautiful because they no longer live in a state of fear, internal fear, which isn't a good place to be in. It's not.
Right.
And I think being dedicated to the journey is also important.
Oh
100.
yeah. Yeah. You have to want to do it. Nothing's going to happen overnight. So if you're not going to be determined to do it, if you're not going to be consistent, then it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to hand you, you know, thousands and hundreds of dollars.
Mm,
No one's going to hand you your goal. No one's going to hand you your degree. No one's going to hand you this job. Like you have to work and be determined for everything that you do in life because it's going so fast.
Hmm.
and
And if you miss out because you're too, I don't know, for lack of a better word, too lazy
mm,
to, get at least something going, then you're not going to, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not going to have that peace of mind that you want.
exactly.
Money can't bring you happiness.
You can't.
It can't. So like when you're when you're at a spot where you have faith but you don't know where you're going, you got to make sure that whatever you're headed towards, whatever your purpose is going to make you happy.
Hmm.
If whatever your plan is, if it's not making you happy at the end of the day, it don't matter how much money you making. I done heard doctors say how miserable they are
Hmm.
because that's not what they wanted to do, but it made them a lot of money, so they stuck with that one plan.
That's hell.
Like you don't want to be that person.
No, not at all.
Definitely. That's why I was like, yeah, is this for me? Like just making, I don't know, sometimes like making sure, because I feel like the mind is so easily manipulated into thinking
Hmm.
something. So when you think it, it's just like it's so hard for you to get out of mindset of you thinking like that. So I don't know. Let's just scratch it off. I don't know where I'm going. That's where I.
Yeah, yeah, you made a point. And one thing I do want to do is maybe get personal with you guys. So, like, how like we can be transparent with what it is we're actually going through or the situation we were facing with the audience, so they have a bit more insight. So it's not just like this contextual talk. It's like, oh my gosh, do this, do that. Like, what what
Right.
what problems is it we're facing, and
Hmm.
what are our plans, and what did we have set that didn't happen, and what are we questioning? And like, if anyone wants to go first, I'll be fine. I'll be happy to go first, if no one wants to.
I guess I can. I guess for me, like I was questioning my career path. You know, you've been in like school for years, and then like I've had opportunities that actually were for like the career path that I'm going into, and I reached a point that I was like, is this truly for me? Like even when I was talking to other people, they're like, oh, it's just the spirit of doubt that's in you. But I was dead serious like, is this truly for me? Like, I really want to make sure, because I don't want to go through something and like I'm figuring out like I'm choosing it for the wrong reasons, or like I've put it in my mind so much that I believe that it was for me. In reality, it was not for me. Like, I just wanted to, obviously in life we're never going to be sure of like what we're going to do, but I just want to make sure that I'm actually happy doing whatever that I'm choosing to do.
Mm. And you don't feel
Right.
like you're gonna be happy choosing what you were on.
Yeah, in a way, before I know I had a conversation with you guys, and you guys had made me see it in a different way. But the way that I was thinking about it, like being a physician, just working in the hospital and stuff, I was just like, I just don't know if that is for me. But if I can make it my own, if I can find a way to make it my own and do what I wanted to do with it, then like I would like to do it more. Like, I'm a more hands-on individual. I just don't want to be like doing like the bare minimum of it. If it
Mm.
makes
Right.
Yeah, like not fulfilling a purpose of it,
hmm
because like you might feel like there's more that you want to do with it rather than just doing like checking the checklist
Yeah,
of what like they're telling you to check off.
yeah. Work like working long hours. If I can find a way to like really make it my own, like, then yeah, like because I have other reasons why I would want to do this.
Mm. Rather than money.
Yeah, but it's just like especially going through the whole process of doing it. It's just like, oh my god, this is a lot.
Mm. I understand.
Yeah. I feel you on that one. It is a journey.
Yeah.
What about you, Marfa?
Mine was like I was in school getting a computer engineering degree, and at one point I was just like, what is this even about? Like, is this even me? Like, and honestly, I'm at the point where I'm still finding myself and really, and I'm a very, I believe it, very interesting person. I'm completely like just, well, everyone's an interesting person. Like, no one would be like, no, I'm not interesting. So everyone believes they're interesting, but the reason why I believe I'm interesting, because I'm finding out stuff about myself. Because at first it was very checklist type of a life I was doing. Like, okay, I'm checking off the boxes. I'm going to college.
Right.
I'm gonna graduate, get a job. But that's not what it's about. And I just felt stuck in that mode. And now I'm just completely just doing what I want, more of what I want. Like, I'm learning more of what I want. I learn whatever I want, and the internet is so vast that you can literally Google the craziest thing and there'll be information on it and you can learn about it. So that's what I do, and I'm just very happy doing that. And I do want to invest and stuff, and I find myself doing it, and I'm just very happy doing that. And I'm just like, for me, I did at first was like, maybe I can find a way to incorporate this degree that I did work for 4 years and got student loans from, but I'm just like, no. I'm throwing it away, completely doing my own thing, because it's just not what I want to do, and I'm not about to force myself like to delude myself into thinking that I have to actually have this because I did it. Like, I can literally have done something and say, you know what, I don't want anything to do with it anymore, and leave it there. I'll completely walk away from it. It's totally fine. And I have no problem doing that because it's my happiness at stake. It's my heart. It's my soul. And like, right, even though like I literally just graduated like in August. Well, yeah, in August officially. So it's like I have no problem with just saying, "Ill, no, I'm not dealing with that anymore." Like, the world is my oyster, I believe, and I can do anything I want. If I wanted to make money, I can do that, and it can be how I want. And I'm really just figuring that out, and I'm figuring out more stuff about myself and how capable I am. So that's where I am right now.
That's great. I'm glad that you're finding more about yourself
Mm, thank you.
and you're finding more happiness in it.
Yeah, and it's fun.
And I'm at the beginning of your journey, I guess.
Mm. Well, you're at the beginning. Well, you're at the beginning of your
Yeah,
journey.
my journey, but
Yeah.
like I'm at the beginning. What about you, Anne?
Um, Well, mine's kind of started in college as well. Just started just trying to find myself, and once I had switched majors from biology to healthcare management, I really was just trying to find myself really.
Mm.
And in the end of it, I knew I didn't want to run a hospital. I didn't want to be in a hospital setting. Like I wanted to be more hands-on. Like I like the business side of healthcare, but also like being hands-on and being with patients, being with people, like making sure these people are improving their lives, like making sure people are, happy and healthy. So instead of going completely behind the scenes, now I'm on a whole another journey, which done it's it's a process, but it's been going good so far. Just finding more about myself really. And I think like Waffle said, that's the joy in it all. Like that's really what's been making this year fun, to be honest.
Mm.
Like there have been some really hard moments where I've gotten so upset with myself because I was so stuck. It's like I don't know what I'm doing. Like this part I don't like about myself. This part I don't like about myself, but this is what I want to do. It was a lot of unpiecing myself
Mm-hmm.
to pretty much piece myself back together again correctly though.
Mm.
So it's like now I'm going through life, and as I'm learning more, I'm able to piece different pieces back to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun. It's really fun. Like when I think about it in my head, it sounds very weird, like oh, you're treating yourself like a puzzle piece. But yeah, I am. Like I really am. I'm treating myself like a puzzle piece, and I'm putting myself back together again the right way, so that when it's all there and aligned, it looks freaking beautiful. And
Yeah.
it's a masterpiece because I done went through hell and back to get all these puzzles in a piece.
Mm.
And I think sometimes it's not a bad thing to be stuck. Maybe like you were meant to be stuck in order for you to
Yeah, I was.
see more. Like, because sometimes when you
Mm-hmm.
actually pause and take a moment, you can see more. You can see that direction more. But once you like just moving, you can't really see the
Yeah.
clearly. You just like not seeing anything. You just blindly going into things, and that's what I was afraid of. I don't want to blindly go into things. I want to make sure like what I'm doing matches who I am as a person, and I know like I want to be involved in different things would that
Mm.
align with my life,
Mm.
with whatever career path that I choose will align with my life.
Yeah, that's really what I was doing for a good while. And I was just going because I knew, because I was depressed for a long time. And once I got out of my depression, I felt like I had to be on go to get back, on track.
Mm.
But really, just taking it day by day and just letting things happen naturally has been way more simpler
Mm-hmm.
than going because I got drained quickly.
Yeah, I
And
understand that.
I don't know what it is about me, but I can't relax for too long.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. Like I can be on Instagram, I can be on, Pinterest, or I can be on YouTube, but I'm not just scrolling looking at stuff. I'm looking at things that, are tailored to my niche, that's tailored to help me, grow and stuff.
Mm.
I don't really watch Netflix. I don't really watch Hulu. Like my best friend has to force me to watch these things because I'm I'm over here just working. But when I do take care of myself and I do try to relax, it's fun. It's it is relaxing, but it's not me.
Mm.
And a lot of people I talk to that's just like me feel the exact same way. Like I don't. know how to just not do stuff.
Yeah. And I relate to that, especially like especially with being stuck at one point. It was very I think that's the hardest. That was the hardest part. That was the hardest part. I don't know what the future holds. So, but putting yourself back together is definitely fun. And I did realize that in my journey that I was also that person who didn't know how to relax. It was like every day I felt like I was watching those motivational videos like if you don't want it as much bad as you want to breathe, you don't want it at all. And like
Yes, that's what it was.
and I like at first it was really good and it helped, but then I felt myself like just going into a loop again. And I did realize that it is important to enjoy as well, because I was definitely one of them people who was like, no, every day in my room on the computer, like researching stuff and putting stuff together.
Yeah.
And like relaxing isn't even about like I realized relaxing isn't even about going on social media. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'm gonna take a break from my laptop, from technology, and just go sit in the garden on the grass, connect with the earth. And that side is also extremely important because
Right.
I'm recently, I think my recent happiness has stemmed from me actually taking time to actually stop always trying to make things happen and just enjoy
Mm.
the moment and enjoy who I am internally. um like just sit with myself. I'm very funny, I believe. I just
Oh,
be like busting jokes. I'm like, yes, this girl is hilarious.
oh.
I'll just be out and just like standing on the grass for no reason.
I've seen her.
And like
I've seen her.
yeah, like just stuff like that and just connecting with this my spiritual self is that has been a great balance for me, because at first I was like, no, I can only do that once I get the outcome I want in terms of my career and everything, or where I want to go. But that was just like I was completely hitting a brick wall, and I was like, okay, I do need to enjoy myself and like just get to know myself and heal and grow internally. And that could be just meditating or just sitting down with myself, or even just not working on what I see as what I want as an outcome, just maybe researching internal stuff like how I can heal this internally. Maybe groups that of people that do certain things and share interests with me, and just stuff like that that are interesting, so you can become more social in that term. And that was really a great part of my and it also drove for better results for me, I believe, because
Mm-hmm.
in taking a break and not always just being like duh, 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 I was able to come back and like be like, okay, I'm on it.
I'm glad you actually said that because I believe like the world is geared to tell us like if you're like the commercials you watch, if you're not working on this 24/7, then you're not doing it right. But like at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, like if you're working on this thing 24/7, how are you living your life? Like you do, I think life is about balancing. Yes, you should definitely work on the things that you want in life, but also take the time out to take care of your mentally, physically, and other stuff that you need to take care of because honestly, things can happen in life that you don't see the result, the end result of what you're working towards. So you need to make sure that you live in your life in a way that, you know, if you're not going to be able to see the end results, that you've lived life a little bit.
Right. Because one thing that I learned from knowing that I am one of those people who just go, 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 I thought, well, not I thought, but I decided that what would what would help me was transfer that same energy that I put so much focus on my business, transfer that into, doing self-care,
Mm.
because I find that to be very relaxing. So I'm trying to go more towards doing that. So like, doing face masks, and I have like my sage and my crystals and stuff. So like I'm gonna start doing my white sage and cleansing. And there's this part that I love to go to here in Tallahassee, and it's just an open space,
Mm-hmm.
and I just I'm able to just breathe there.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm gonna start going back to that more, and yoga, stretching, like a lot of things that I know that I enjoy doing. I'm just starting to do them more. If I can transfer all my energy into work, 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 I definitely can transfer that same energy into having fun, making sure I have a smile on my face instead of being drained every day.
Mm.
Yes.
And I would say, like, I think, like, for me, I learned that, like, something negatively. I feel like I probably watch too much shows or something like that. But at the same time, I feel like I don't because sometimes I come from work. I don't really have to, I don't really watch nothing. But sometimes I do feel like I'm watching too much and I'm not doing as much as I should. Like, I know I'm like dedicated and stuff, but like, I should be putting that energy towards something that is more beneficial instead of like, oh, I'm tired. I've been working. I need to like relax and watch TV.
See,
Mm.
that's where I was at a certain point in my life, but then that's when I just started planning. I just made sure that when I was part-time, that when I on the days that I wasn't working, I would devote some of the day into focusing on, the end goal, the business, the plan, what I want to do with my life. But
Mm-hmm.
I still made time for, doing other stuff. So like you, for instance, watching shows, you can still watch shows because they relax you, especially when you coming home for a long days of work.
Mm-hmm.
But on the days where you're off, that can be the days where you actually put some work in.
Mm.
That's what I do.
That's aside from your regular 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's what I do because like I found myself like I guess I'm learning this more about myself. I found like if I wake up and put in the work that I'm supposed to and the things that I'm supposed to, I will get it done faster than like for me to wait later on the day to do so. Like for example, writing my essays. If I'm doing it right now, obviously I wanted to write like another essay today, but I didn't get the chance to. I only wrote one and a half or like about two. I completed two, and I was supposed to do another one. I didn't get the chance to, but I found out like if I do wake up, like if I'm not doing anything, if I wake up and just do what I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna get everything done, and then I have the rest of the time to do whatever else I have to do.
Mm.
Right, which is like the best part, because at least you're getting something done. You're still progressing, even if it's just one thing.
Yeah, and finding a structure for yourself is very important because discipline for me is not going to be the same as for you. Like, our two disciplines are going to look completely different. So, don't let someone tell you that they do 200 push ups a day and like 500 squats and like convince you that that's what you should be doing. If that's not what you feel like discipline is for you, then find your own discipline. And like, just because some people don't watch TV, or it doesn't mean that, oh, you have to now stop. Like, if it relaxes you, do it. But
Mm-hmm.
then, as Anne said, on the days you have off, find those times for yourself. And Anne was just like, she's just getting into self care, and that's the same as me. And I'm learning a lot from my sister because my sister's like one of them people who actually took the time to like learn how to do hair. She'll stand in the mirror like for ages and like just do that. And I was one of them people like stand in the mirror for what? Like I have to work. Face mask. I don't have a time for that. Like I have to work. And now I'm just like, oh, I actually do have time for this. Like
Right.
let me actually like take care of my hair a bit more. Let me actually do this with my skin a bit more. Let me actually do this because self-care is important. And if you do have that work mentality, though you are building, it can sometimes be toxic because you're missing out on the
Hmm.
spiritual side of you, or
Mm-hmm.
that isn't like because sometimes when you're working you enjoy it and it's not like
Right.
taking away from yourself, you're actually adding to yourself when you work. But there comes a time where you're just like, oh, I've been working too much, I do need to rest. take those times and work on yourself. Maybe as you do your hair, you do a face mask, you paint your nails, you
Hang
get
with a
this
friend.
done. Yeah, just do something that, or as you said, there's this park that you love. Go there. Like there's this trail. Tallahassee has some really beautiful trails. There's this trail. I forgot what,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so beautiful. I'm going there when I next go, and yeah, find your crystals. Learn how to do tarot card readings. Learn how to like different herbs,
Mm-hmm.
like just stuff that you want to do. And one thing I did take up was pole dancing because I like it just
Fun.
makes me happy. Like just doing something that I love makes me happy. So it's like don't just always feel like it has to be you have to be in this world of corporate or not even corporate but just that world of making money because that does lead to just a big headache.
Right.
Have fun with it, just be yourself as well.
And like for me, listening to you guys and stuff like that, I felt like, my younger self was more in tune with like, in a way, like not even knowing with like nature or just other things. Cause when I didn't have a phone or like a computer, I was like, I enjoyed walking from the bus stop. Let's walk from the bus stop, and then like I was reading books. Like I was not like on TV watching TV 24/7. I actually was reading
Right.
books, and I'm like I miss those days a little bit because now like the reading that I do is for school.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Like one thing that I really started to like love is along with the whole self-care is that it's not just physical.
Hmm.
Like it's all different kinds. So physical it will be me, stretching, me doing yoga, me working out, like me eating healthy, like me making sure I keeping my hygiene in check, making sure,
yeah.
hair is good. Like if I want to have my nails done, have those done, like appearance wise and, inside body wise, like that's physical. But then there's also the mental where, you need time to meditate, you need time to be with nature, you need time to journal or
Exactly.
just listen and just be in silence for a minute. That's a very like important part of you really relaxing.
Yeah.
And then you have like of course the business side of it and the professional side of it. Like, yeah, you want to make sure that you're, doing your purpose and getting your stuff organized and, having your head on straight. But then there's also the other side to where, okay, you want to make sure that your emotions are intact. Like, you want to make sure that you're being able to be free. Like, it's so many different sides to you that you have to maintain. And if you're just focusing on one, you're going to get really tired really quick.
Mm,
You just got to make sure you have everything aligned.
It's true.
I like that.
Balance is key.
It is, and I'm learning because, like, at first I was very heavy on the work, 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 but now I'm starting to incorporate that into relaxing. And some days, like, I wouldn't even do anything on my phone, but I'll just lay down and just like I'm relaxing. And I remember I used to do this thing where like I would lay down and not do anything, and someone would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm laying down," and they're like, "Okay, so you're not doing anything. Can you come here?" I'm like, "No, I'm laying down. I'm doing something."
Right.
I actually be doing something. I'm sorry, I can't turn up because I'm
It's
actually laying
action.
down, like taking care of myself. So,
Like,
see,
I'm relaxing. I'm doing self-care. Why would you interrupt that?
like,
Because for me, sometimes I feel like if I'm laying down, okay, I'm not doing much. Okay, get up. Because today I was like, I wasn't feeling well, so I was laying down. I'm like, girl, you have these essays to write. Get up, okay? I'm like, okay, I'll start at 12. I'm like, get up. You got essays to write.
Girl, if your body is not in it, then you're not gonna be in it. So if your body said, I need to rest, then girl, you better rest.
that is true.
Because
And
that burnout is real.
That's true.
yeah, I had this friend and she was like, she didn't feel like doing anything the whole day, but she had an essay to write. like she had homework due for the next day, and I was like, listen, relax for the whole day. And she was like, I don't think that's a good idea. I was like, no, just do it, just relax. Like, trust me, if your body's saying something, do it. And literally, she relaxed, and then she got to a point in the day where she was like, I don't feel like relaxing anymore. I'm gonna do it, and she got everything done by the end of the day.
See?
Like, sometimes you do need to listen to your body, and things are gonna happen. You're gonna get it done regardless, but don't always feel like that comes first. Sometimes self-care is what is gonna make you do the other stuff that you need to get done. So sometimes it has to go in that order rather than, oh, first I have to get this done, then self-care. Sometimes self-care comes first.
That's true.
Self-care is in all aspects. Like your entire life is built upon self-care because there's so many different categories.
It is. It is.
And if you're focusing on one too much, then all the rest of you are lacking and you're not gonna be happy. If you're focusing on something a little bit too less and it's being neglected, that's gonna make you unhappy.
Yeah.
You gotta stay balanced, and that's what really been helping me for real. Balance is peace.
And it's a journey. It is a journey, but it's a beautiful one where you get to really figure out yourself and grow within that. Me talking like this by no means necessary. Do I have it figured out? I'm like just in this moment.
Nowhere near.
Having this conversation. The only thing I know right now is that this conversation like
happening.
like I'm
right.
So it's just like
we just know that we are here. We just know that we are blessed, and we just know that we're still on the journey, folks. Like I'm not nowhere near where I need to be.
I'm nowhere.
Nowhere near.
And I'm just loving it because it's beautiful. There's beauty in being lost, and there's beauty being like exactly where you don't even want to be.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I feel lost in the garden, like a beautiful garden full of flowers. I feel lost in a cute little maze like that.
Yeah, and
like I used to feel lost like in a dark cloud, but this garden is so beautiful.
I think I think I said it earlier before, but I feel like in the society we're basically programmed to think like, you know, you have to figure everything out in life, like you have to know every single step of your life,
and at a certain age.
Yeah, definitely at a certain age, because like everyone puts a cap. It's like at this age I have to do all this by then. And then like you watching other people and they're getting this done, and then that influences you and you're comparing yourself, and it leads to a whole bunch of turmoil inside yourself because you're not happy with who you are at the moment because you want to be someone else, and you're missing out on the journey that you're supposed to be on. But let me get back to my point. My point was that I feel like being lost is supposed to happen to actually direct you to the area that you're supposed to go to. I think I've said it before. I feel like it's just like it's supposed to happen. It's like, yes, you need to be stuck for that moment in order for you to actually know what's next.
Yeah.
If you was not lost, you wouldn't know like the beauty, because you guys talk about the beauty. You wouldn't know the beauty of being lost. You would not know, you wouldn't be that type of person that you are right now. Being lost has added to who you are and contribute to the better version of you that you're becoming.
Yeah. Not beauty. Being lost allows you to think.
It does.
Being stuck allows you to really think, because you know you don't want to be stuck, but you also don't know how to not be stuck. And the only way to get out of that is if you think. And if you start thinking about, okay, well, what is it that I like to do? Now you're going more into, all right, let me figure out my hobbies. Let me figure out my interests. Now you start to practice those interests. Now it's becoming more of a, thing that you enjoy doing. And once it comes a thing that you enjoy doing, then it's like, oh, what if I was doing this And then I could be doing this, which makes me get more money in this. Let me keep going down this road and see what happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it all starts with your mind when you start thinking.
That's true.
You got to start being creative too.
Definitely.
Everybody is creative in their own way, even if it's tiny.
Yeah, because I've actually like I had it when I had a conversation with you guys, and you guys kind of like talked about stepping out of the box. I'm not sure if like that would be possible with whatever path I'm going in, but it just made my mind open a little bit more of like not following the path that regular doctors or whatever have been doing, but stepping out of the box and seeing what is for
Hmm.
me in that field because I like this field
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah.
can do more.
And anything is possible as long as you're willing to fight for it. Like there have been people who are doctors but had to step out of the whole doctor industry because of the confinements, but they still have customers, and they still label themselves as doctors, and other people label themselves as doctors. So it's whatever. Like we live in a world of possibilities, and I always say this: like anything is possible, literally anything.
Hmm.
Don't hold yourself to this standard or put yourself in a box and say maybe not, because you can do anything. And like it's just like just finding out a lot about life. Like I realize I don't really know anything, but I know what I know, and it's like it's good enough for me. And I'm just out here, as you said, lost in this garden, and I'm just like, what is next? Like I'm not even trying to be found at this point. Like I'm really enjoying being here, and it's like
Right.
yeah,
Isn't it so refreshing?
it is, it is, because it's so different from what I was used to, having to be like here at this time doing this, da 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 da, like having to have a whole plan, having to know stuff, and now it's just like I don't know shit, but I love it. Like
I love the honesty.
Hmm. And it is so cool because like we're all unique
mm-hmm.
and we all have a funny and interesting way on how we're going to do things. And we have an interesting way of changing our minds and finding creative things to do and stepping out of the box. And if you're one of those people who don't want to compare to social media, be different.
Mm-hmm.
If you claim that you're different, if you claim that you're unique, be that.
Mm.
Don't conform to what you see in social media. Don't conform to what you see in your particular career field, because I'm not doing that. I'm still gonna be doing nursing, but I'm not gonna work in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm not going to be under a 9 to 5 roof over working for somebody else in a clinic. I want to have my own clinic.
Period, sis.
I want to do things my way in my clinic, so
Amen.
that way I'm not over here like, ugh, man, I wish upper management would do this, do this. That would make this clinic so much better. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
finna own my own, so I know exactly how I want it. Like I wouldn't do this, so I know it's exactly how I like it.
I love that mindset, and that's what I'm like getting through a little bit, like just trying to do it my way because I know for a fact, like I don't like to just be confined under one thing, and that's just me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I love it. I'm here for it because we need people who actually love what they're doing, first of all. Because some people do stuff and they own businesses, but it's not that they actually love it. So you can see it in the service that
Yep.
they have and the way that employees are treated too.
Mm.
So having this place where you can do things your own way, and I'm pretty sure, just knowing you, I don't want to make assumptions, but your way would be because you've been a worker, so it's like you know how to treat employees, and it's
Right.
like those people will stay. And then obviously we need more black owners, stuff for black people. So the fact that you're thinking and heading towards that is just amazing, because um, our community needs that. And it's not even like you're doing it for the community, you're doing it for you, but then it adds to the community, which is the beauty.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It will always be to give back.
Hmm.
I'm a giver before I am a receiver.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm making money. Yeah, I'm gonna be making money from doing all of this, but that money I'm trying to use to do stuff to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And like even in making that money, you are giving back, and I think it's a way of the universe even rewarding you for what you're doing, because you've then provided people with jobs, you're then providing people with healthcare, and you're giving your life's purpose to something, to a whole cause. And then the universe is like, you know what, thank you, take this money, take it. Like that's so
Yes.
good. And that's how some people see pay. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
just it's especially when you love what you're doing and you're not greedy, and you're,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're giving, and then the universe is like, okay, because of the laws of give and receive, you're receiving in return for giving. And I think that's just beautiful. Make your money through putting your heart into something and giving your life's purpose.
Exactly.
Right. Because building back up Black Wall Street is a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and we need it
And
for Black
and
people.
if I could contribute in that way and also be with other people who can contribute to it, like I'm about to find a Black doctor, a Black lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
Black engineer, a Black architect, a
Mm-hmm.
Black, I don't know, driver, other businesswoman,
Yeah,
businessman.
somebody.
Black nurses.
Right. I want Black everything that's in these big old corporations that's making big money. Everything that they can do, we can do too. And
100%.
we can do it bolder and bigger and better. And if I got all my friends here who are these amazing people who dominate all these major industries that's really making money, we can build back up Black Wall Street, take over, and really give back into our communities. Everybody say, I want to give back to this place, I want to give back to this place. But you don't see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, practice what you preach.
Period.
There's so many of us, in these bad homes and bad environments and bad neighborhoods, and hell, some even unfortunately are on the streets. I don't like seeing that. So to stop it, let me figure out a way to where there's less of us on the street, or less of us in poverty, or less of us, not getting the resource that we need. We can't get good health care, or we can't get a good meal to eat. They put all the bad foods on the bad side of town where most Blacks live.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wonder why a lot of us end up with all of these different, diseases and illnesses and stuff.
Exactly.
But if we had, people like us in all of these major industries, selling good food, providing good health care, providing this, providing that, like,
Mm.
we'll be straight.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and actually trying to look out for us rather than just
Yes.
from us. Because at the end of the day, these are businesses, and they're not trying to be like, oh yeah, we actually care about these people. If they did, we won't be dying at the rates that we're dying from the healthcare that they're providing. And it's just like, okay, let's start doing for ourselves. And I love us because we've got that spirit where it's just like we're never dying out. So
Yeah.
like yeah, like yeah, we're just never going anywhere, and we're standing up. And I'm proud of all of us for doing it our way rather than
Right. Even if we don't know what that way is, we're still doing it our way.
Yeah.
trying to figure it out and just going out on our own. And it's gonna pay off one way or another. And we're gonna look back at this conversation and be like, oh,
I'm not sure what happened. It broke up.
oh,
Oh, you're fine.
we're just gonna look back on this conversation one day. Oh, the internet isn't stable. But yeah, we're gonna look back on this.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello? Hello? Dang, it's telling us we talking too much. Off tangent.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear y'all now.
Okay. We can just cut that part out. But yeah.
I'm really glad that we're all like happy with the journeys that we're on, even if we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that we're at least happy that we're on this journey, that we're not miserable, that we're not feeling like we can't advance. Like, I'm glad that we're all on a particular path.
I think I'm supposed to be a pioneer. You know, everyone had to create something for it to be created. There always had to be someone that first started
Right.
something or first
We're
did,
all gonna be the first.
yeah, to do something in order for it to be what we're doing right now. That's how I think. Like sometimes I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little weird because I'm like, someone had to create this word that we're saying in order for us
Right.
to use it daily. Someone had to create something that we're doing daily in order for us to be able to do it. So why can I not be that person that creates something new?
You can and you will. Well, thank you all for joining us today on the Young Intellect podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and tell a friend about us, and make sure you take care of yourself and your mind.
Cause I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect.